In this video, you're going to learn how you can get your first 10 bill Mesos on MapleStory. The first 10 bill Meso on your account, I believe, is the most important Meso that you need to set yourself up to be able to progress way further into the game. And when you're brand new or when you have not a lot of resources on your account, it can be pretty difficult to get that initial amount of money that you need. But with this video, I hope to make it a little bit easier for you guys and show you guys how I was able to make my first 10 bill and use that to make my training gear, which helped me progress way further into the game. If you want to know more about training gear, I made a whole video about it linked below. But for this video, we're going to talk about how you could get the Mesos that you initially need so that you can start making way more money in the future. So the first thing I want to talk about is daily bosses. So daily bosses are very easy to kill. They're under the daily tab and they can give you a surprisingly good amount of money if you do them every single day. And the cool thing about daily bosses is you don't really need that much damage to kill them at all, and you could do it on a bunch of different characters every single day if you have them and get quite a lot of money from it. So for me, I'm on my AB right now. This is the AB from the event that you get a ton of free resources on. You can see my nodes aren't really that high level and my gear is pretty much non-existent. Not too hard to get to this point in the game because the game just gives you a lot of free resources with a class like AB, as you can see with the battleground idol comeback. So if you opt into doing the AB in this event, this could just be another character for you that could do daily bosses and get you a little bit of money besides your main. Or if it is your main, then you can use this to make money as well. So I'm going to do all the daily bosses on this character. You can see all the stats and we're going to see how long it takes and how much money I got from it. I have 0 Mesos in my inventory right now, so we know exactly how much money I could get from all the daily bosses. So I did the daily bosses and I got around 90 mil Mesos from it. And I know that it isn't that much, but if you do it every single day over the course of a week, it's around 630 mil Mesos, which does add up, and that's per character. So if you have 2 characters, that's double that. That's over 1.2 bill. If you have 3 characters, it's almost 2 bill per week just from doing those daily bosses and with pretty low funding. And because I did those daily bosses, I got some equips along the way. And because I have these equips, I could probably even push for doing some of the weekly bosses. And the weekly bosses will give you a lot more money. So I'm going to try to do some of the weekly bosses and tell you which ones I think I could do, given a little bit of effort and how much money they would give you. So I was able to actually kill Hard Magnus, Hard Hilla, and Normal Cygnus. As you can see here, Hard Hilla, Normal Cygnus, and Hard Magnus. Granted, they were a little difficult, especially Hard Magnus, but it can be done with just a little bit of effort. Understand that you're not just going to one-shot the boss. You're going to have to be in there for maybe even 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But when you're very early into the game, it's very important to try and sweat these bosses because they could be a huge Meso resource that you're missing out on every week or every single day. So just from my AB from the event with pretty much free resources, I was able to make over 300 mil off just this one character. Now, another easy way of getting Mesos every single day is by doing your daily Ursus. So Ursus, you want to always make sure you're doing it on your highest level character. The reason for that is that the amount of money you get from Ursus is dependent on what level you are and what rank you get while doing Ursus. So you always want to make sure you're doing Ursus during the double time, which is shown on screen right now. And whenever you do Ursus per run, at the end of the run, you will be getting around 30 mil Mesos per run. So you can make easily upwards of 90 mil Mesos per day just from doing Ursus every single day. And on top of Ursus, you can do MapleStory every single day. So MapleStory can give you anywhere between 250 mil Meso per week to 1.2 bill Meso per week. Now, the reason that there's a range to MapleStory is because MapleStory, you can do it 7 times a day, just like Monster Park. But if you want to do it more than 2 times per day, you have to pay real money. You have to pay Maple points to be able to keep running it. So you can get, as you can see here, it says 2 free clears every single day. And if you do these 2 free clears every day, at the end of the week, you'll make around 250 mil. But if you do the 7 clears every single day, at the end of the week, you'll make 1.2 bill. Obviously, most people I don't think are going to do the 7 clears a day just because it costs 1.5 US dollars every single day to do it. So $10 a week to get 1.2 bill, $40 a month to get around 4.8 to 5 bill every single month from MapleStory. You can get around 250 mil for free every single week from doing this, and I think it's worth doing at least the 2 runs. It's really easy. I'll show you how to do the run right now. Honestly, the hardest part is this first stage because the mob mobs are so scattered, but the rest of it is super, super easy. It's like a shorter monster park. Finish the run and you could talk to her and check your accumulated wages, and you could see that I made 22 mil just from that run. And if I did 2 runs, and if I were to do it 7 times throughout the week, I would make around 300 mil, not 250 mil. I calculated wrong. So 300 mil just from MapleStory doing the 2 free runs every single day. So now that we know about MapleStory, we know about daily bosses, weekly bosses, and Ursus, let's talk about training. So right now we're on our Night Lord, which is our Hyperburn. The reason why I'm doing this on my Hyperburn and on my AB is because most of you guys watching probably have the same characters on your account. You have your Hyperburn and your AB, right? And let's say you've been doing your daily bosses and you managed to tier up an item, got a line of Meso, got a line of drop, maybe a little bit more drop. So I only have these 2 items on my Night Lord. I know it's hybrid and double drop, but for the sake of this character, let's just say it's 1 line of Meso and I have 3 items with 1 line of drop. It's effectively the exact same thing, right? So you have a little bit of Meso bonus and a little bit of drop bonus, and you could get a little bit more from the Legion artifact that gives you a little bit of Meso and drop. The reason I bring this all up is to talk about Meso farming. Meso farming, even if you don't have the 100 Meso and 80 drop, you could still make a good amount of money just with the scuffed Meso and drop gear you have when you're very early into the game, and you can make a good amount of money just from doing your dailies. You don't even have to do multiple hour-long sessions to make enough money to get that initial 10 bill. And during this event, they actually offer you a free 30-day vac pet, which can increase your Meso rates because it makes it way easier to loot. So I'm actually going to claim this vac pet for the sake of this video. Boom. So we're going to do a quick test to see how much money I've made in this standard map in Arcana that I can farm in. So in about 6 minutes, I killed 1,400 mobs and made around 19.8 mil Mesos, which means that if I were to have trained for an hour, I would have made almost 200 mil Mesos, which goes to show that you could still make a not insignificant amount of money just from training and progressing your character. Keep in mind that Meso rates are dependent on how many mobs you kill. So as you get into later maps where you can get 15k kill rates, 16k kill rates, your money will go up more and more and more. And another easy way of increasing the amount of money you can get is by getting the Meso inner ability. I don't even have the Meso inner. I don't have wealth acquisition potions. So this is on a very, very low end, but it still goes to show that you can make a decent amount of money just from training with almost no Meso obtained on your equips at all. And obviously, as you get more and more Meso obtained, your Meso rates will increase dramatically, going up to 500 mil, 600 mil plus Meso per hour. One of the daily bosses that I forgot to talk about was Ranmaru. Ranmaru can be a low-key good way of getting an extra like 13 mil Mesos every single day. He's super easy to kill, not anything to really worry about. As you can see, his crystal gives another 13 mil. So in total, if you do your daily bosses, if you do your Ursus, your MapleStory, you train a little bit, and if you're strong enough to kill some of the weekly bosses, in total, as you can see here, this is how the Meso spread is. Daily bosses give you around 100 mil every single day per character, so you could do it on as many characters as you are able to. Ursus gives you 90 mil a day. Could be higher if you are even higher level. Like for me on my Hayato, since it's over level 280, I get around like 40 mil per Ursus run, so it is a little bit more. MapleStory gives you anywhere between 300 mil per week to 1.2 bill a week, depending on if you buy the entries or not. Training can give you anywhere from 200 mil to 600 mil per hour. Obviously, that's just dependent on how much you train and what your kill rate is. But even on the low end, you should be able to make like 200 mil an hour, somewhere around there. And then weekly bosses, also depending on how strong you are and how many characters you have, you can make anywhere between 200 mil to 1 bill Mesos per week from every single character. So let's say you're like me, you have a Hyperburn that has a little bit of Meso and drop gear, you have an AB side character that can kill some bosses. You can expect to make around 300 mil per day just from the daily bosses and the Ursus. And if you put in MapleStory and weekly bosses on top of that, you can make around another 500 mil on top of that. So that means you would be making around 800 mil just from doing daily activities, which doesn't include training at all or killing any of the bigger bosses. And that's only on 2 characters. So if you do the bigger bosses and you get your AB to the point that it could do CRA, Chaos Pink Bean, Chaos Zac, and the same thing with your Hyperburn, you can easily make over 3 bill Mesos a week just from getting to that point. And that's only on 2 characters. So if you have more characters, obviously it would increase more. And if you train a lot, you want to really start grinding a lot, you can make way more Mesos, even up to 5 bill a week just from training. So I hope this video helped you guys understand that there are these different ways ways of making Mesos, especially when you're super early into the game. I think it's very, very important to talk about. A lot of people don't talk about how honestly difficult it can be to get that first 10 bill Meso that you need to make your Meso and drop gear on your main. Because once you have your Meso and drop gear on your main, you progress way faster because your rates just increase so much. But getting that initial starter amount can be difficult. It could take up to 2 weeks, 3 weeks to do. That would not be surprising at all if it took that long. But if you make it past that initial hurdle, the game becomes so much easier and you'll have a much better time. This is the way that I did it. I did daily bosses on multiple characters. I trained even at low Meso rates, and eventually I was able to get the Meso and drop gear that I needed. So if this video helped you out, maybe consider helping me out by sharing it or watching some of my other videos. And if you want to talk to me directly, I stream on Twitch almost every single day, and we're having a really fun sub event going on right now. That all being said, thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful day. Thank you so much to my beautiful members, Blazefire, Shooms, Uju, Shagad, Ravi Espa, Grim4K, Koga, Pabo, Picolneer, Jesse, Dante Victory, Zats, and CK. I appreciate you guys so much.